Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Infinite Wish. So, I know I said part 2 in the other video, that's not what I meant, but okay, this is the next part, whatever part this is gonna be. So yeah, let's get into Venus in the 12th house synastry. And sorry, I literally just finished eating this amazing wrap. Is anybody else like super obsessed with something for like, when you can eat something for a whole week straight and then you kind of forget about it, and then you get obsessed with something else. Anyways, I'm into wraps again, so that's what I've been munching on. So anyways, back to the synastry aspect. So I think that Venus and 12th house can really do something together. I feel like they're actually more similar than they realize, and I think that's why this synastry aspect may not take off right away, because when you can feel a heartbreak coming, or when you can feel like, oh, we're gonna be really, really close. So I feel like sometimes that's the energy that can get picked up on, and at the same time that might not be good, because these individuals may not be looking for that. So you come together and you realize that this can be more deeper than you thought, and then you don't want to feel the pain, essentially. So that's why these two people may not even get together, because they can feel it. This can be almost like a codependent synastry aspect. You just have to be really careful, because it's falling in the 12th house, and a Venus is falling in the 12th house. So but let's get into the other stuff. You guys could have like a routine together. I think that would be the ideal situation of Venus in the 12th house. Either you guys go on walks together, you go to the gym together, you go on short trips together. I feel like there is something that you guys have in common, that you guys could do together. And I don't know, there's just a very interesting closeness that could be formed here if the walls can drop, and if both 12th house and planet are honest with how they feel. So let's get into feelings. I know we don't want to talk about feelings, but let's talk about feelings. So I'm gonna say 12th house, because of how the 12th house is, and 12th house could have manifested this synastry aspect, okay? But Venus could have seen 12th house before 12th house even knew. So Venus could have seen 12th house person around town, regardless of how they first met. I'm just saying, like, Venus is very aware of 12th house, and 12th house is, but not as much as Venus. So 12th house, I feel like 12th house already knows what this synastry aspect can be, but I feel like with 12th house here, 12th house could be dealing with something, and Venus coming here, it could just be opening up that trauma, because it's the 12th house. So 12th house could be really resistant to the connection, or 12th house could be really like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to uncover this, if they know what to uncover, of course. So I feel like 12th house can really, really benefit from this synastry aspect. And honestly, 12th house can be on one path before meeting the Venus, and then after meeting the Venus could be on a completely different path, on their purpose, type of energy. And I feel like with this synastry aspect, you guys have to be honest. Like, there's just so many, there's just not even secrets, but I would say secrets, but like mystery. Like, you really don't know where you stand with this person, and I would say Venus is the one who's bringing the energy. So if Venus cuts communication, 12th house person, you know, may go along with that and they may never speak. So if 12th house is being, if Venus is being super consistent, which like I said in the beginning, Venus could be love bombing. So Venus is super consistent in the beginning, and the 12th house person is going to give that energy back. But the minute the Venus pulls away, the 12th house person is going to pull away. But then also there's like this push and pull aspect, like kind of like not fights, but I would say like it's just very interesting. Like you guys will be talking, you guys will be cool, and then all of a sudden you guys aren't cool. And then you're cool again, and then you're not cool. But I'm going to say the Venus is always reaching out. Eventually I feel like the Venus person is going to get really, really tired of that, because I feel like the Venus could be really, really genuine, but 12th house person just doesn't trust it, because it's Venus. So, 12th house person does not trust it, and 12th house person just doesn't really understand what they're feeling. They just know that they are feeling different and they're changing, but they know it's because of the Venus person, but they just don't know what they're feeling towards the Venus person. Like they could appreciate like how they're feeling and they're changing, and you know, their beauty and anything Venusian, like they can really, really appreciate that, but at the same time they may not know exactly what they're feeling. They may get really annoyed with the Venus person. I feel like both of them could be really annoyed with each other at the same time. It's just a very interesting energy, and people may not even know that you guys are talking. But also I feel like you have to be careful with Venus, depending on, especially if you guys watched my first videos and how they met with the third party. You just have to be careful, because you really don't know what Venus could be talking about, because Venus has a group behind them, and just got to be careful, because your name can travel and you may not even know it. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. So just to recap, the first meeting is really important. That kind of sets how the relationship is gonna play out. The synastry is going to play out. And 12th house will, you know, I don't know. I feel like 12th house person could be playing it really, really cool just because they don't trust the planet person, but they really, really like the attention from the planet person. Not in a like disingenuous way, but they just don't trust it. Like something is just, they just don't trust Venus. But they really appreciate Venus trying, because it's helping them in a spiritual way. But Venus can get really, really tired of this, and because at times Venus can be really, really genuine and feel like 12th house is not giving that back. But at the same time, Venus could be doing things behind 12th house person's back, or trying to get 12th house person jealous, because I feel like Venus may want to pull those emotions out of the 12th house. Like, are you jealous? Do you feel anything? Like, you know, and 12th house person may not really have a reaction, because, you know, they may even feel relieved, like all that pressure is not on them, or, you know, because if there was no set rules about what this what this relationship really is, 12th house person may not even have an issue with what's going on. You know, they may even have a sense of relief, because 12th house person may not even want a relationship. So it's such a interesting synastry aspect. And Venus, I feel like Venus is going to have to learn how to not be codependent, and kind of, you know, you can't just jump from, you know, and you may not even really understand what's going on with Venus, because Venus can have one story and then get more comfortable and kind of reveal the truth over time. But 12th house person can kind of remember exactly, you know, because it's 12th house, 12th house doesn't forget anything. So Venus can kind of lie and not really tell the truth, like white lies. But then as this progresses, the truth kind of will reveal itself if the 12th house person's listening. Because the 12th house person can be like, well, that's not what you said last time, in their mind. And so the truth may reveal itself over time. Yeah. And I would say the 12th house person can kind of lie just to save face, because the 12th house person may feel like Venus is not being honest. So the 12th house person may lie straight through their teeth, only to protect themselves and their feelings, because the 12th house person does have feelings, guys, but the 12th house person doesn't really understand it and may not even express it until it's too late, until Venus is almost until the connection like fizzles out. And but at the same time, the Venus may not even want to feel feelings either. They just might want the 12th house person to be all over them and express how they feel, because the Venus may love that validation, honey. So that's what I would say about that. And the Venus loves the validation from 12th house. Loves the validation. 12th house loves the attention. But this synastry aspect, if this does take off, you guys could be really, really great together. You guys can accomplish a lot of things. You guys will, it's like such a, Bonnie and Clyde type of, not in a destructive way, but like that kind of energy, like, it's just us, and I feel like, the 12th house and Venus, the planet, I feel like they do understand each other. They feel really comfortable with each other, especially when they are by themselves, then being in public. So that, like I said, depending on how this connection took off, they may feel really comfortable just being one-on-one instead of being that, that superficial out in public, first date. So they may really want to find a connection, but then they also may fear having a connection. And also Venus could have somebody messing around with somebody, talking to other people. And I feel like Venus is doing this because Venus doesn't want to be alone. Venus doesn't want to feel feelings. So yeah, but there is a lot of talking and not talking, messing around with each other, and then it just kind of stops. So hopefully, if you guys have this synastry aspect, this does take off, because you guys are more similar than you realize, and you probably will realize this, like, especially if you guys do get together, and then you guys will kind of reflect on the first time you met. It's just like, wow. It's really interesting reflecting when you first met a person after getting to know them and everything like that. It's like, oh, that's who you were. You were just, this is who you were the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's how that could play out. But I would say that you guys do really well on one-on-one. I don't know, you guys could just be like this, it's like this ideal fantasy, like best friends, lover, this is like, this could be like the perfect relationship, right? But because of like dating these days, what is perfect? Nothing, because everybody is really scared of pain. Nobody wants to get hurt, and nobody wants to admit who likes who first. It's really childish, but you guys can feel the energy. So, you guys know that you guys both have feelings for each other, and you guys may not, 12th house and Venus, they may not even be direct with their feelings. They could just be like, yeah, I like you. Oh, I like you too. But like, you guys might not feel it. So, and thanks for watching this Infinite Wish.